Title: The Empty Chair. The house had grown quiet over the years. Margaret sat by the window, watching the garden she and Thomas had planted more than 30 years ago. The roses were still blooming, stubborn, beautiful things, despite the autumn chill. She wrapped her shawl tighter and glanced toward the living room. The chair was still there. It had always been his chair. Deep green, old, with a squeaky armrest he always promised to fix. For over 4 decades, he sat in it every evening, reading, dozing off, listening to music from the radio. And now, it sat empty, still holding the shape of his body, still waiting. Thomas had passed 6 months ago. Not suddenly, not unexpectedly. Cancer doesn't rush. But even with time to prepare, no amount of warning could fill the silence that followed. The house didn't feel like home anymore. It was a museum of their life. His books, his sweaters, the coffee cup he never stopped using, even when the handle cracked. Some days she didn't speak at all, but every evening, just before sunset, she would sit in her own chair, across from his, and whisper things as if he could still hear her. Do you remember the trip to Venice? We never did paint the upstairs hallway. The tomatoes finally grew this year, you'd be proud. It wasn't madness, it was memory, a conversation with the past. One evening, her granddaughter Lily came to visit. She was 23, full of energy and bright plans. She brought a box of old letters tied with ribbon. "Grandpa wrote these to you," she said. "I found them in the attic." Margaret opened the box with trembling hands. She hadn't seen those letters since the early years of their marriage. Yellowed paper, smudged ink, love poured out in words that once made her heart race. As she read them by the window, the sun setting behind her, she felt something shift. A warmth. Not the return of joy, not yet, but the soft stirrings of peace. The next morning, she placed one of the letters on his chair and smiled. For the first time in months,